Hi friends, this is VU3 Tango Bravo uniform and Rajesh. This is about the ham radio portable operation we have conducted on Shivaganga Hills on 29th of July 2022, and this hill is about 60 kilometer from Bangalore, and it's 70 kilometer from my home QTH, and it's a famous hill for pilgrimage as well as travelers and rock climbers. It's a very beautiful hill from a different angles. Like from east, if you see, it looks like a bull, and west it will look like a Ganesha, and the north it will look like a serpent, and the south it will look like a Shivalinga. So it's a pilgrimage hill also, and most of the people believe that it's as a Dakshina Kashi, and the steps are equal to whatever steps we have in Benares, and in that way also it is famous. But most of the people I have seen here are not pilgrimage, but trekkers and those who just come and visit. And it's a beautiful trekking here. I started it by 5 o'clock in the morning and reached the top by 6:25, and it was really dark when I started, and the fog was very high. Almost in the middle of the climbing, we can see Shiva, Parvati, big statues, and this is almost the 50% of the trek, and the rest of the 50% of the trek is real rock steps there. After this particular grassy area, we are going to climb the real rocks where government has made now steps. Before also there was steps, but it was not that comfortable, and the railings was completely rusted because of the weather condition and aging. Now the new from last 1.5 years, there are developments happening, very slow speed, but still it's happening there, and the steel railing has come. When we are climbing, we can hold the railings, and the steps also a little bit more cuttings have done on the steps like this, and little more easy to climb compared to the previous way how it was. And still there are few more works pending to complete. From last 1.5 years it's continuously happening. Now it is kind of stopped. The rails what we are seeing right now is the old one, and the new one is the steel one. Here we can see here, and the water flow was very good during the monsoon right now here. The new railing is really helpful, which is very smooth. I started getting VU2IU repeater, Vardhanji's morning net. He every day he's coming on time by 6:15, 6:10 and all, and starting the net. The signal was very strong there, but I was not able to trigger the repeater from my current sitting location. I have to climb a little further above the hill, and it is a very good location for VHF because it's about 800 plus meters from the sea level. So I was able to check into the net after reaching to the top of the hill, and the reception from that repeater was very strong, always during the climb, and that was fine. And plus little more to climb to reach the uphill. I'm just starting again.
3 TBO back on frequency.
Yes, sir. I will reach the heat up over.
Roger. VU3 ITI, VU3 TBO on mobile from Shivaganga Hill Stop with handy. 5 whiskey, I'm able to copy you 100% fine and plus blasting signal like Bangalore. How do you copy Vardhanji? Over.
Blasting over.
QSL Vardhanji, and I will be setting up an antenna here for HF, and hope to see you on HF later. 73, thank you for the report. Have a nice weekend. Bye over.
You take any letter like you, over.
Not sure Vardhanji, let me see how I can copy and how others are copying me. If possible, I can try VWN after 7:30. QSL?
QSL, sir. QSL, I'll be there.
73.
152 also. Good morning, Rajesh and Girish. Wish you good luck. Back to VU3 ITI. This is VU2 BRT. Rajesh has given the report of my one Rajesh over.
Roger, 5-1 direct BRT, thank you for the report, and 73, see you on HF after setting up the antenna. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, sir.
HF rig wise, I used my Xiagu G90, which was running about 15 to 20 whiskey with a 12 volt 20 ampere battery, and the antenna was end-fed antenna, which is tuned for 40 meter, and 10 meter coax was going to the small tree there, and after that the wire was going to the nearby temple top. That was my antenna setup overall. This is how I received Belgaum net, started at 7 a.m. by initiated by V2KOC and started by V2PNU.
Early morning from 7 to 9 o'clock Indian Standard Time. Today beginning net controller is V2 Papa November Uniform. Handle is Babu Bravo Eco Bravo Uniform. Babu is handle duties is welcome. Emergency and medical traffic is most welcome at all times during the day. Alpha Alpha forward Lima Delta. 8 Quebec 7 Papa Radio. The radio Guru Alpha. Sierra Mike November. Japan Eco Uniform. Eco in the kilo. Eco in the kilo. V2 Uniform. V2 Kilo Sierra Juliet V2 KSJ. I got Kilo Sierra Juliet. Which is the station? Please come.
I was not alone in this trip. After half an hour, VU3 Uniform Delta Charlie, Oldman Girish joined me there. He is staying in Nelamangala, so for him it was so nearby. He just need half an hour. So he also joined with me on this expedition operation on the Shivaganga hills. And there are multiple stations gave us direct report from Bangalore, and we thank all the stations who responded to the call and received us there from the repeater. Start ചെയ്തോ സ്റ്റാർട്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട് റെക്കോർഡിങ്. ഓക്കെ, അതെ ഫ്രീക്വൻസി റിപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യോ.
I'll give preference to Tango Bravo Uniform. He is now on hill top at Tumpur, somewhere in the Tumpur area, and Shivaganga. I'll give preference on that position. VU3 Tango Bravo Uniform. Rajesh, please come in.
VU2 BRT, VU3 TVO. Good morning, Belwan once again. Good morning to Nisha. Good morning to all stations on the frequency. I am operating from Shivaganga Hills, the top hill. It's about 800 plus meters above sea level, about 70 kilometers away from Bengaluru. You are coming fine and plus blasting signal as usual. Thank you very much for letting me in. Have a wonderful day on VU2 BRT, VU3 TVO. Over.
VU3 Tango Bravo Uniform V2 BRT. Good morning, Rajesh. Lovely copy. Crystal clear, sharp audio. Though the strength of the audio is a bit low, but excellent copy. You slightly broke the belt compared to last time. 5-1 you were there. Now just broke this belt. Thank you. Full scale both ways. Very strong signals. Thank you very much. For second the night 73. Nice Saturday and see you later. V2 hotel number Alpha. Apana please come in traffic. Good morning, Anto. You're 5-7 on direct today. And the lovely morning, Anto, is bright and sunny. Bit warm one. Days, and it's partially cloudy weather now. Temperature 24 degrees. 7 days, wishing you a pleasant day. PWL was in progress. Any further chicken, please call.
VU3 TVO QRP.
This was a the regular station QSOs which used to happen. I joined them, and most of them are from Kerala. You can listen to that. The long distance station I have received is from Muscat Alpha 41 Lima Delta, and he was generous to give me 5-5 report with my 20 whiskey and this setup. And I was carrying the items like this many, like major power source is the battery, 12 volt 20 ampere battery, and the radio is Iago G90 which can run up to 20 whiskey, and a Swiss Army knife, and the connector wire, power connector wire, and a headphone I was carrying, but I not used much, 10-meter coax and 20-meter antenna wire, and the transformer and fed transformer, and plastic ropes to tie the antenna, and one flask full of coffee, and 1 liter water. And Girish also brought a few food items and snacks, and he served that to me. So we enjoyed the trip like that there. The finishing activity again, packing the gears back. Major thing is the radio, putting it back into the bag, and the microphone, headphones, removing the antenna, packing it up. So we have packed it everything around after, I think it's about 9:30 that time, and lot of tourists and people started coming to the location. By the time it was almost getting crowded that time, and we many people asked us what is this and all. So we tried to explain them what is ham radio and all the things, and the battery power source used, how it is used, how the communication happening, what are the main components required, how much time is required for setting up a station like this. For me it was 10 minutes because I used the temple and one of the smallest tree there. So throwing antenna to those was very easy for me there. Mainly it helped during many of the field days I've been with many hams, including Bengaluru and Tamil Nadu, and taking out the antenna was the next task here, removing the wire and fed coax, 10-meter coax was there. Folded the coax back, untied the end fed transformer from the tree, removed the coax connection, removing the antenna wire from the temple, securing them all into the bag. In Shivaganga we can see multiple temples. One of them is almost 20% if we hike, and there we can see the temple is completely inside the rock. There was a big rock, and inside that there is a temple, and that is accessible for all because it's very near to the downhill of, and there are decent steps still there. And after that we start climbing, and there is one more big hill that contains again water inside, and a temple kind of setup inside. It's carved inside completely. You can go inside, and photo shoot is not allowed. Now that entrance fee is 5 rupees there. When I went there first time it was 1 rupee, then it became 2 rupees. Now it is 5 rupees. And it's carved inside. There is a small water flow, and in monsoon it's already a lot of water inside. We need to fold our pant and whatever dress we are wearing, and chappal is not allowed inside as usual like any temple. And this is the peak where there are two temples. one of them there is a priest inside, and the priest itself is selling goodies there, small things. And there inside that particular building, it's very cool and chill to sit, and those who can meditate or pray whatever, or sit cool, that's all possible inside. And this is the peak where there is one side of that there is a suicide point also. It is also protected now. People should not fall from there. There is a railing fixed. And this particular hill what we are seeing, I use the top portion of that to host my antenna. And a lot of people started coming by the time, and the view from the top hill is mesmerizing. No, nothing can explain the view. I recommend those who are physically capable can visit the hill once at least, because small kids, 2-year, 3-year, 5-year old, and elderly ladies and men, those who are 80, 85 also coming to there, and they all coming considering it's a pilgrimage as a spiritual value of climbing. And other 90% of people coming for the trekking and climbing of the hill, and the view and the serenity overall, it's very beautiful. And from their vicinity we can see many of the hills are taken down by the land mafia, and the rocks are broken down. So the spiritual hill, any hill, if we make it as a spiritual hill, then that is protecting the hill one way, because if there is a spirituality associated to hill, then it will not be attacked by the mafias of rocks. This is the only shop on top of the hill, and this boy, I started seeing him when he was a kid. Been a long time now, and every time I visit him, he's growing and growing. His father and himself was building the shop there, and one more guy is bringing that items from the downhill. We started our journey back. By the time it was almost crowded that way, and Girish and myself started coming with other people to the downside. The big rock what we are seeing here is having the temple what I was mentioning, which is carved inside, and ages back maybe camera is not allowed inside, but if you are going there, it's a very beautiful view inside, because we need to go inside this, and the rock inside the temple, multiple temples are there inside. Thank you to VU3 Uniform Delta Charlie Girish for joining with me there. He carried snacks, and that was enough to kill my hunger after 3 hours of that, and 1.5 hours of climbing, plus 3 hours of sitting there. Then we started coming down, and by the time it was really sunny, but suddenly the change in the temperature was normally not that comfortable, so I have to remove all my jackets to face the heat. Overall, that trip was very interesting and tempting to go again and again to the Shivaganga hills. When I first visited the hill, it was the starting point of Kumudavadi river. Kumudavadi rejuvenation project was happening there, so I was volunteering for the project, and that was the reason I reached there, and it was a service project. And I used to go there Saturday, Sundays, and that was the first time, long years back, I saw this hill. and the river is getting rejuvenated now. And here there is a water source which is, I never seen it dried. Even in summer the water was there little bit. Thanks to all those who watched this video and given reports and talked with me on HF, VHF, all the ham stations. And this hill is having water flow right now because the monsoon is very strong now. So everywhere water was there. And I recommend again to all, you should visit this hill once because it's a real experience. Thank you, 73. Bye bye.